Good morning, everyone. So we're gonna start walking through this is the start of the money management and mindset course. And the first four videos are going to be relatively short. They're going to be short because in order to facilitate good conversations around it, we need a good group of questions, good group of people that are going to drive the conversation that all have a base understanding of the same concepts and the same approach. Um, this doesn't mean that it's the right approach. This is just a quick example of how I established when I started trading futures. I was going to use that because the risk in futures is, and the emotions behind it, um, is pretty drastic. So when I was first feeling out if futures was a good opportunity for me um, to start trading, you know, 6, 7 years ago, this is what I approached it with. And so we're going to use this as a base for risk management because it highlights a very important step, which is your first trade of the week, and in reality, your first couple trades in a week. Um, I don't know how many of you follow basketball, but if you watch if you watch some of the most successful, and I'm going to use point guard as an example, if you watch some of the most successful point guards or shooting guards, their first step is critical. So the way that they put defenders on their heels, the step that they gain, and just to gain a little bit of an edge and really dictate momentum and dictate decision making is hugely important to the success of their game. That's true with trading too. Your first move and your first step is going to help dictate the week. So back when I started trading futures, 6, 7 years ago, I did a test account. I deposited $10,000 into a test account, and I wanted to kind of feel out how this was going to go in terms of trading with a smaller account, um, and leveraging and using the leverage that futures gave you. And as I said earlier, futures in and of themselves are um, drastically different from trading other things because the P&L moves so fast because you have the risk to lose a lot more a lot quicker, but also because you need to manage expectations and you can see yourself profit a couple grand in a matter of minutes. It really becomes difficult to stay emotionless when trading, especially when you're new to trading something like futures. And even on Nadex, the P&L can move very fast. So this is going to highlight the importance of getting ahead. So for me, I always start every week with the most precise entry I can, I spend the weekend looking for that first trade of the week. I take every opportunity I can to highlight what I think is going to be the best opportunity. Sometimes that won't happen until Tuesday, what that opportunity to fill is, but it really makes a difference as to how you maintain your week. And because of the strict analysis and because of the time spent ahead of time, I run with a bigger risk because I'm looking for a bigger reward, right? I'm looking for um, a 1 to 2 risk to reward here. But what I want, I'll highlight this first trade of the week. What I want is, and again, using futures, you can translate this to whatever, and we will translate this to whatever instrument you're trading. But I'm using ES as an example. So trading two contracts, um, I'm comfortable risking 5 points on my first trade of the week in order to try and achieve 10 so that my risk to reward is 1 to 2, but that puts me up, substantially. I could very well I could adjust this and sit with the same risk, 2 to 4, 2 to 4, 2 to 4 in terms of risk to reward for my trades. But we're going to use 5 points and 10 points. So we're going to start off with a bigger trade because we've done the analysis and we understand really our bias and how we want it to play out. And in reality, especially in today's market, 10 points is not a huge move. 10 points can happen in an hour. 10 points can happen in minutes. So it's not, with the volatility today, it's not that difficult to achieve. So with that, when you walk away with 10 points on a 2 contract trade, you're going to walk away with $1,000. So your P&L, first trade of the week, because you took the time to do it and you picked your entry quick, you didn't gamble with anything that could have filled less. You're now sitting at $11,000 in your account, right? And this was the bias that I was trading with. This is what I was trying to see how to best manage my account with futures. Now I do the same thing now, with the exception of I follow strict rules, such as my intraday margin at any given time is never going to exceed 5% risk of my overall account. And I do that with 8 contracts. So over the course of 6-7 years, my account has grown to the point where I'm able to do that. But to start, I was really focused on this $10,000 deposit to try and trade proper risk with that. And then if I did decide that futures was right for me, that I was going to trade with a $30,000 account and try and do it and try and achieve the same risk. And I actually just traded the same contract size anyways. But the point being, first trade of the week with a lot of analysis behind it. The max loss is $500, and you walk out of there with $1,000 profit. So now you're sitting ahead $1,000 for the week. And your second trade, you can see here that you have the ability to be a little more aggressive with it. Why? Because you can lose with this setup right here. You see that I've outlined 2 scenarios. Now you can be a bit more aggressive with it because you can afford to lose this risk to reward. You can afford to lose that risk 4 times on a two contract trade and still walk away with $200 profit, right? Or if you were to really slim down and on a $10,000 account, I don't see any reason why you shouldn't slim down to a single contract. You can lose 8 or 9 times and still walk away with profit. But you're giving yourself the opportunity to trade a little more aggressively in terms of the setups you're entering, but you're trimming your risk, your overall risk. And if you walk away with $1,000 on your first trade, and again, this is all relative to various account sizes and how what brokerage you're trading. But if you walk away with $1,000 on your first trade and you lose 2 trades, right? Let's say you lose 2 trades for $200 loss because you're trading 1 contract now. So you lose 2 trades for a $200 loss. You're still up $800 on the week. Show me someone who doesn't, who's taken 3 trades, made $800 on the week, and isn't happy shutting it down. And if you can show me someone that's not happy with that, I'll show you a fool. So don't let the idealization of gaining a drastic amount in a short amount of time, becoming rich overnight essentially, cloud your judgment and cloud the overall picture. Slow and steady growth is going to get you there, and maintaining your risk throughout the week is going to help you achieve that. So again, you can see here that we've outlined 2 scenarios. You either trade 1 contract or 2 contracts for 4 points for an additional $400, or you trade 1 contract for 4 points for $200. And so this is where that second trade becomes imperative as well. It doesn't set you up the same way that the first trade does, but it allows you to then really throw caution to the wind and trade aggressively, right? So you're sitting at, let's say that you traded two contracts again, just to keep it consistent. Now let's just say you're trading on like a $30,000 account. You're trading two contracts and you're up $1,400 on the week, right? It's now Tuesday. You're up $1,400 on the week. Then you move on and you take one more trade. You're up $1,600 on the week. Actually, it'd be more than that. Let's do, my math was off because of the contract. So you're up 11,800. So you're up $1,800 on the week. You can now take out $900. Okay, math's right now. So you take a third trade. It's Wednesday morning, and you can and you can see. So you've taken three really high quality setups, three trades over 3 days, for a couple of points. That's not super. Oh no, I was right. Sorry, I meant to have this as a smaller trade. I was wondering why that didn't make sense to me. So let's say that you're trading high quality setups for the week, and again, none of this really matters right now, but trading high quality setups for the week. This one doesn't give you the movement that you want, and you're only able to do a 1-to-1 risk to reward. So you walk out of there with $200 profit, and your overall profit on the week is $1,600. Your account's up to 11.6 or 31.6. Now you're at the point where Wednesday afternoon comes around and you want to keep yourself flat. You want to keep yourself emotionless and you want to keep yourself flat throughout the week. So I personally, again, this is how I approach the week. This is how I established when I first started trading futures that I wanted to approach the week to keep myself level and level-headed throughout the week. Is Wednesday afternoons, I roll all my profits out into various investments, into other longer-term investments. But I keep my account to a point where it's very flat, right? And I try and keep myself from getting too high and leveraging profits to overtrade, because that temptation will be there. So from here, Wednesday afternoon comes around, I withdraw half of the profits that I've made, and then I'll withdraw the other half on the close of the week, and I start the balance. I start my account fresh every week, but every Wednesday I'll withdraw half of what I've made already. So now that leaves you with 10,800, and if you're taking the same risk, right, 2 points for $200, you can risk, or 2 points for $200 risk. You can lose 4 trades. Right? So let's say that you close out the week by losing 4 trades. You've still walked away with $800 profit. Your starting balance is back where it was, and you can safely shut it down and just be confident. Let's say that, so it's Wednesday afternoon. Let's say that you lose a trade on Thursday and a trade on Friday, and then you try and revenge trade and you lose a third trade on Friday. Well, now you can still walk away knowing that you already withdrew $800 and you're starting the next week up $200, so you can afford to lose 1 to start the week. So you're putting yourself in a position to succeed by getting ahead early on. And really, this is first trade of the week. This could also be first trade of your account, because from there, right, the first trade you take in that account is going to dictate everything. So please don't jump into live too soon. But the first trade really dictates what you can do in terms of risk, aggression, and how you're trading. So again, this is how I set up my trial into futures 7 years ago, 7 years ago. I set with the trial amount that I was comfortable losing. But you can see here that I was never going to risk anywhere near that $10,000 that I put in. Once I saw that I could do this consistently, right? I started with a $10,000 account, and this is outside of the scope of this course. But once I saw what I could do with a $10,000 account, trading this risk, trading this style, then I was able to take a step back and comfortably invest a heftier amount of money. So then after that, the account went to $30,000, and I kept the same risk, I kept the same trading style, and I kept the same mindset, right? I wasn't using that additional money as more leverage to trade bigger contracts. It was just more of an investment, right? It was my money working for me, and it was going to make me more money. So keep yourself level headed. Remember to kind of do the appropriate analysis and make sure that first trade is the perfect trade, right? And it fits your plan. And uh, the next iteration in this series is what happens if that first trade doesn't pan out, and how to not revenge trade throughout the week. So this first installment, like I said, these videos are going to be short, but they're important to get a good, solid understanding of how to set yourself up for success before we start to have discussions in a group setting and really identify what success is to you and how to achieve your own individual money management, mindset management type of how you handle your account.